And welcome to the Equity.Guru Investor Roundtable. Today we're talking about hydrogen. Tastes good, good for you. I'm Bobby. Next to me in the basement is Galen. He's over there not only running the controls, but also making a chocolate bundt cake with a cream swirl. At least we think it's a cream swirl. That is Chris, all contemplative in the far corner, and Vishal up above. He's not Irish. Let's talk about three companies that are involved in hydrogen. PowerTap Hydrogen with the CEO, get ready for it, Raghunath Kalambi in Vancouver, and they are MOVE on the NEO exchange. Bloom Energy is a big one in San Jose, California. KR Sridhar is the CEO. That is BE on the New York Stock Exchange. So you will not find that one in Canada. And Ballard Power Systems in Burnaby, British Columbia is BLDP, B as in boy, L, D as in dog, P as in something. Randall McEwen is the CEO. We will go around the horn. We will start with the always informative and entertaining Vishal, who will start us off talking about hydrogen.
I try to be entertaining, but I think we have more entertainers on the show here. PowerTap Hydrogen, this is, I guess you can say it's more of a smaller or early stage company. And you can see here their goal, build North America's largest hydrogen fueling network. Think of it as your gas stations, for fueling your hydrogen power cars. They have deals with fuel stations for the future. And they're also hoping to, get a pretty big launch in California to accumulate those carbon credits that they can get from the Californian government. So here we go, you can see all the revenues. And as of now, 14 gas stations in the US actually utilize their older or their previous PowerTap H2 tech. And again, those stations are not owned by PowerTap. So very early stage. Bloom Energy, as you mentioned, Rob, these are big boys, right? They're all into hydrogen fuel cells and decarbonizing the world. And their Bloom Energy or Bloom Electrolyzer is quoted as one of the top low-cost hydrogen fuel cell technology in the world. They actually had a big deal with a company in South Korea called SK, which is one of the largest chaebols, or sort of like a Samsung. It's a family-owned company, very big. So they have a pretty big footprint in South Korea and are looking to, develop the footprint also in Europe and also in North America. Really big boys. And then finally, Ballard, who have been in the fuel cell game for about 40 plus years, and they're sitting on about 1,400 patents, I believe. They have a whole bunch of technology when it comes to fuel cells to deal with the marine industry, and also for the electric power grid as well. And they're really the big boys with also some technology, I believe, in Vancouver as well, in some of our transit systems, if I'm not mistaken, in the buses, trucks, and trains, because they showed it on their maps.
There are actually 6 factors involved. You brought up decarbonizing the world, and that is a lofty goal. We'll go to Chris next about decarbonizing the world. You don't have to explain how it works, but you can talk about hydrogen fuel.
That's a good thing. Look, hydrogen fuel cells have been something that has been, it's not a new technology by any stretch, although there is obviously new applications. What's interesting to me about these 3 companies is that they're all mature companies, right? They're all, 2 of the 3 are billion-dollar companies. One is an $80 million company that has been a multi-billion-dollar company in recent past. Did you ever hear anyone talking about hydrogen fuel cells as being really a thing that's going to take over the world? In order to really make a big dent, you need to be having aeronautical companies using it. You'd need long-distance trucking to be using it en masse, and you'd need individuals to be using it instead of fossil fuels. I don't know that we're close to that point in time. So this sort of puts on the brakes a little bit for me when it comes to considering hydrogen as an investment class. Also, the fact that I think for a lot of these companies, if the future success of hydrogen, future uptake, is already kind of wired into their market cap. If we look at the stock charts, not to take anything out of Vishal's thunder, but
No worries, yep.
PowerTap for one is one that has been way, way, way up, and then way, way, way down, and then gone back way, way up, and then come back way, way down. The other companies have also generally upward, but very higgledy-piggledy. It seems like people are struggling to really figure out what they feel about this technology and whether it's something that's actually going to compete with solar, wind, and electric vehicles. I don't have enough of a study on where these three companies are individually to be able to say one is better than the other. I will just say, in general, I'm just not really thinking about hydrogen. And maybe that's down to the companies in the sector not doing such a great job on reaching past their true believers. But I think when it comes to the potential of changing the world and ridding us of carbons, I don't see this yet.
Very higgledy-giggly.
Not as something that's going to double my money in the next 6 months anyway. I was going to say there's certainly a lot of money in ESG right now that pushes some companies that might have naturally moved to this 3 to 5 years from now into doing it now, right? Even if it's not necessarily going to save them any money, the ESG budgets and the push to be cleaner as a company sort of means that there are entire departments of, let's say, transit companies and such that are like looking for things like this. But I think you're right in that it's the natural place for the world to come to hydrogen. It's a bit of ways away yet.
You mentioned Burnaby and Ballard Power. We're going to see from Michelle here in a second is BLDP on the Toronto Exchange. Also, the Bloom Energy is a big boy with BE on the New York Stock Exchange. Not as concerned about that one. And then PowerTap Hydrogen on the NEO at MOVE, Mr. Fischel.
And we'll see that on Bloom Energy because they just reported earnings, and we'll just talk about that in just a second. MOVE.NEO Hydrogen, Chris alluded to this, the stock was up at one point. Now it's just, it's been a bad 2021, been a bad 2022 so far as well. I guess the positive would be the stock looks like it's ranging now between 20 cents and 25 cents. Maybe some exhaustion of selling here. However, I think if you want to be excited for a new uptrend, you might want to wait for that breakout above 25 cents or, for some sort of major catalyst, right? So nothing really happening there. Bloom Energy, Galen mentioned earnings. They had earnings in May. Take a look at that stock gap down. So the earnings was disappointing. The stock gap down, 20% the day after earnings. However, the positive thing is the stock actually retraced and filled that gap. So it did make up for that loss there, which is usually a very bullish sign when a stock fills the gap. But of course, while we're recording this, the markets are going crazy. So keep in mind that this broader stock market sell-off, the fear and uncertainty probably has people, jumping out of these more, I guess you can say growth stocks, right? Because they're not paying a dividend. They still have, a lot of them borrow money, right? So if debt is going up, interest rates are going up, it's not a great thing for them as well. So keep that in mind when you're looking at some of these growth stocks here. And Bloom, seeing some buying here around 15, but the stock could fall back down to $12. It's just all over the place right now. Ballard, one of the biggest losses on Monday on the 13th of June here with an 11% down day and a gap down. But we are, holding on to this support level here at $7.50. And very good chance it could break that with what's happening in the markets. And if that happens, we're looking at levels probably below $6 potentially. And that might be a time when you want to start accumulating for the long term. But honestly, the stock is probably going to be held down until it can climb well above $10 here, just from a technical perspective. But not looking too good for these hydrogen stocks on the markets right now.
Chris Perry, dinero, mucho dinero.
I like the fact that Ballard has like a lifetime supply of patents. That might be something that comes in really handy later on if they or others in the sector really sort of get some industry pickup. But the fact that none of them make money right now, it makes it really difficult, especially in a down economy, to throw good money after growth money that's not being rewarded on the exchange. I would watch from a distance. If they continue to drop over the next few months and maybe flatten out, maybe that's a place to go and take an Engen-like 20-year position. But I think there's opportunity cost in that. And so I would just watch for now.
Yeah.
Ballard to me is the more reasonable pick of the bunch because there's some actual business there. But a lot of the money that is being spent here is on development and business to business sales and, biz dev. And that's just not the place where I generally jump in. I jump in at the, earlier stage where the thing's worth maybe 20, 40 million bucks and it can double or triple in a couple of mornings on good news.
Michelle, you are the last of the three.
Nothing for me right now, Rob, just because what's happening with the markets and stuff. However, I do believe what's really interesting is the fact that if oil prices continue to, rocket higher in the next few months or whatnot, I think we might be getting close to this turn where, countries might actually make or take serious steps to decarbonize. So I think there's going to be a time for hydrogen and, other renewable and clean tech stuff. I just think there might be a bit more pain before that occurs. So I'm just going to be sitting on the sidelines for now.
PowerTap Hydrogen is MOVE on the NEO Exchange. Bloom Energy is BE on the New York Stock Exchange. And Ballard Power Systems is BLDP on the Toronto Exchange. They're out of Burnaby. We will have more resources and gases in the coming days. Make sure you do your own homework and your own research. We can't guarantee a damn thing that we've said, and past performance does not guarantee future results. So please be diligent. That's all we can tell you. For Galen over there, and for Chris over there, and for Vishal over there, and for Bobby right here, we'll see you on the very next Equity Guru Investor Roundtable.